These are the instructions for checking in an athlete and screening them once they arrive to practice. First, you want to ensure that all coaches have their masks and gloves on as they go through this screening process with the athletes. The athletes do not need to wear gloves, but do need to be wearing a mask since we are within the 6 feet social distancing guidelines, and in addition are not in the process of competing or playing. Now, this is flexible, but the best way to do this is to have ideally at least 2 coaches and have one coach who can actually be completing the screening process physically and another coach who is writing down and assisting with the screening process. Now, the coach you see sitting down currently has the screening and tracking template for Special Olympics activities, which has the questions for screening for each athlete that you will need to ask them when they arrive to practice. Now, included in that template is the writing section in which you will check in athletes and track their temperatures and their various check-in needs, such as their name, their role, and whether or not they have completed their code of conducts. Now, as I mentioned, when the athlete shows up, you want to make sure that they have their mask on, and then using that template, begin the screening process.
In the last 14 days, have you had contact with someone who has been sick with COVID-19?
Not really.
Have you had a fever in the last week of a temperature 100.4 or higher?
Nope.
Do you have a cough and or difficult breathing right now?
Nope.
Do you have any other signs or symptoms of COVID-19 like fatigue, muscle pain, body aches, a headache?
Nope.
Once the screening questions are asked, the assistant will document that the athlete has been screened, and utilizing the thermometer, approximately 3 inches from the athlete's head, take their temperature.
Thank you.
Now, once the temperature has been documented and the athlete has been screened with the screening template, the athlete can now move on and begin getting ready for practice. If you have additional athletes, you will want to continue working through the screening process to make sure all athletes are properly screened. You will also need to screen all coaches who come to practice to assure that they are not exhibiting any symptoms. Now, to utilize the thermometer, here are the proper procedures. Ensuring that you have the battery placed in there correctly. Let's see, we're going to try to pop the cover off here. Okay, so as you can see, you want to make sure that they're in an alternating fashion. Okay, you will want to first press the trigger button. And when you hear the beep, it should come on. And you will see the screen. It'll either have 4 slashes on it, or 4 hyphens, or the word low. To get it ready for screening, you will want to point it in a direction away from any human contact or high temperatures, and then press that trigger button. When it reads low, it is then ready to be used on an athlete or a coach for the screening process. You will put it approximately 3 inches from their head, pull the trigger, and it will give you the temperature reading. When you get your temperature reading, you will point it away from everybody else towards something that does not have a high temperature or another body, and press the trigger again, which will clear out the temperature reading for the previous athlete or coach, and you will be able to do a reading on that next athlete or coach that is waiting in line to be screened.